You're back with Rock and Roll Rugby, and as we know, the Springboks already announced their team with a 7-1 split. We're telling you early what we want to do, what's our intentions, and basically giving Ireland loads of time to make their decision on what kind of team they want to field. Now, while Ireland kind of likes to have a few more backs on the benches, they like to move the ball. It's a type of team that really moves the ball around on the field. Probably the most, I would say, the Irish and the French. But definitely the Irish more clinical in just moving the ball between hands. There's been a lot of hoo-ha and complaining about the 7-1 split, and it's unethical and all kinds of stuff. Guys, I've got an entire video about that. If you would like to see my reaction to that, please, at the end of this video, just check it. The link will be there. You can go and have a look at that one. But let's get into this one-on-one comparison, and it actually makes it a lot more interesting. So at the end, Ireland deciding to go with a 5-3 split. So not trying to say, Springboks, we're going to play your game, we're going to play ours, you play yours, and let's see where we get to. Obviously, the head-to-head matchup looks a little bit different. So, you know, from the start there, you can see Kitshoff versus Andrew Porter. What a great matchup. I mean, both really good players and a good head-to-head matchup. Bonambi and Ronan Keller. Keller, to me, not necessarily better than Sheehan, but you know, Dan Sheehan being on the bench, I think what the plan is there, what the Irish are saying is we'll also bring our impact second half. So deciding to go Keller first, Tad Furlong versus Frans Malherbe. Now that's an interesting one because Tad Furlong has been outstanding. He's a very, very strong prop. And then you've got Frans Malherbe on the other side. He's been a bit disappointing in the World Cup. He's not been the scrummager we know him to be. But he's interesting. Sometimes on certain games, when he's just on fire, he can be outstanding. So I think he'll step up to the plate. And him and Tad Furlong's going to have a great battle there up front. The Eben Etzebeth, that will be head-to-head versus Tad Byrne. Tad Byrne has had outstanding form, but we also know Etzebeth probably, for me, the best lock in the world. So Etzebeth maybe a little bit of the edge, but I've got to tell you at the moment, both these two players are playing really good rugby. Franco Mostert and James Ryan, I would almost say it's even, man. Mostert, I would say Ryan was a little bit better for a long time, but I've got to say Mostert lately has also had outstanding form, so it's a good head-to-head. Then Sia Kulisi versus Peter O'Mahony. I mean, what do you say? Two legends of the game, such a good matchup and good players, both of them. Then you got Pieter-Steph du Toit versus Josh van der Flier. Again, what a matchup, guys. When you start looking head-to-head like this, Pieter-Steph du Toit has found outstanding form after his injury being back. And this man's just had form and just seemed to have form in World Cups. And he's playing outstanding. Obviously, Josh van der Flier has been a little bit quiet lately, but we know the form he's had in the last 2 years. That's another great matchup. And then Killian Doris versus Jasper Wiese. You've got to feel Killian Doris and the form he's in at the moment a little bit better for me than Wiese. Wiese is a very good carrier, but yeah, Doris has been really good of late. Then looking at your nines. Now, I like the fact that they went for Jamison Gibson-Park. I'm just a fan of him. I like the way he distributes the ball, but I also like more he's sniping around the rucks and the edges. This is the type of guy who's always got his eye open for the blind side. And we know that the Irish love to play the blind side from anywhere, from the lineouts. Usually from the rucks, they'll go blind side. And he's so good at checking that out. It's really going to be a job for Faf de Klerk to be able to mark Gibson Park. And I think then if we go down there, to the next one, that's the big one. Marnie Libbok versus Johnny Sexton. By the way, Faf de Klerk and a Jamison Gibson Park, again, very even matchup. I wouldn't want to have to choose. Maybe Gibson Park for me in a sense, but a lot of people will say Faf de Klerk. Both very good on the day. I think Gibson Park a little bit more reliable. Faf de Klerk from time to time can do little silly things, knock on balls, maybe sometimes just decision wise, but both very, very good. Then going and looking at that, Marnie Libbok and Johnny Sexton. Marnie Libbok finding great form lately, but Johnny Sexton very experienced. Such a good kick of the ball, possessional play, tactical type play, great rugby mind. And Marnie Libbok on the other side, more of a distributor, front foot type running that sets away the Springbok backline if they're on the front foot. But the question really is going to be around these two, is how the likes of a Peter Steph de Toy and a Josh van der Vlier and even Siya Kolisi and Omahani are going to be marking these number 10s, because we know the Springboks are going to come with their rush defense, and the question will be around these two and how will Sexton deal with the rush defense. On Sexton's side, that would be my biggest question. And when you get a lot of pressure be put on him by a Faf de Klerk and a Peter Steph de Toy, what is going to be the counter? Is the counter from the Irish going to be that Gibson Park will be marking a Faf de Klerk, and maybe a Josh van der Vlier will be marking Peter Steph de Toy, so that they can give Johnny Sexton that space? We know he's also a guy that needs some space. Are the Springboks going to be able to suffocate the Irish like they did with the Scottish? I don't think Andy Farrell will allow it. I think they would have studied the Springboks more, and I think this outfit is just a bit stronger when it comes to their forward pack. They are going to be able to match up front, and we know the Scottish did for the first 20. I think for the first half it's going to be really tight between these two teams, and it's really going to be the question if Johnny Sexton can get his backline away with that press defense, or will the Springboks be able to kind of suffocate them? And I do feel that Johnny Sexton is the one guy, if he's going to get ball, he's so quick to get it onto his foot, to do those little kicks, cross kicks behind, the centers, and kind of get it into that open space between the centers and the wingers. If he gets that right, it's going to be interesting, because we know that Willie Leroux is not playing now. Willie Leroux on the attack sometimes make mistakes, but he's really good at reading those little kicks and stuff. So how will Willemse be able to read those kicks from Johnny Sexton? But the question is, will Sexton get the space? On the other side, from a Marnie Libbok point of view, we know he's really good at his front foot running type ball, but how's he going to be when he's under pressure? And he's not playing with front football. And the other question will be, how is his place kicking? We know Sexton's place kicking to the poles are outstanding. That could be the win or the loss in this game. So Marnie Libbok's going to be put to the test, and the question is going to be, do they let him kick or Faf de Klerk? Probably Marnie, as I know the Springboks way of thinking, their coaching staff, how they think. They'll give Marnie Libbok first run, but if he struggles, they'll probably pass the tee to Faf de Klerk. Then your next matchups there, oh boy. Cheslin Colby versus James Lowe. Two of the most outstanding seasoned wings you will find. Both of them outstanding in their own ways. James Lowe with his goose step and all that he can do, versus Cheslin Colby with his just absolute pace and changing direction and even amazing step. Both really, really good players and such good finishers. It's going to be such an insane game, this, because head on head, these players are all so outstanding. Let's not stop. Next, Damian Delilindi versus Bundi Aki. We don't stop with the crazy good matchups. Delilindi and Bundi Aki. You'd almost feel Bundi Aki in better form than Delilindi. But Delilindi played very well in his last game, and he's starting to find that form again. But both such strong players, and Delilindi will mark Bundi Aki, and Bundi Aki will mark Delilindi. So you're going to have such a matchup there in the midfield. And then on that outside, again, Ringrose, probably seen by many as the best outside centre in the world, versus Jesse Creel. Jesse Creel, no slouch himself. He's got huge pace. He's been playing outstanding. He's been really good at that kind of press defense, having that pace and putting that pressure. But at the same time, we know sometimes almost rushing too quickly. And if he's, a lot of his centers sometimes catches him out where they in the tackle get the pass away. He doesn't always kind of tackle with the ball, and sometimes those players do get away, and that's when you can set away James Lowe. And obviously, who's next? Mac Hansen versus Kurtley Arendse. Another guy, Mac Hansen, Kurtley Arendse right up there. And the only reason why I think Kurtley Arendse I won't say it's not form, but Curtly Arendse hasn't played as much as Mac Hansen of late. But both of these guys, great steppers, and man, you look right through this team, and the matchups and the head-to-heads are insane. Jürgen Keenan again on fullback versus Damian Willemse, two of the best. So guys, I mean, if you go through this whole team, head-to-head, you know, first half up to 50 minutes, this game could go either way. Expose the Springboks rush defense, or will the Springboks rush defense and the pressure from those loose forwards that Peter Steph de Toy, Faf de Klerk, that rushed shooting up the fence where one guy shoots up the line, are they going to be able to suffocate the Irish? That's going to be the first half head-on-head, you know, comparison, where can the Irish expose that, get those passes off of the shoulder, and expose that rush defense. Because if someone can take the tackle like a Bundiaki, and Ringrose can run those hard lines where he gets those passes off the shoulder, the rush defense can be exposed where you'd find the gaps. And the other obvious thing would be the little kicks. Now, the Springboks haven't really been put under pressure of late, where, you know, that rush defense has been exposed. And if there's a team that can do that to them, it will be this Irish team. I've got a feeling the Irish will score first. The Springboks will get a bit of a shock and realize, hold on, we got to defend even better. And they will start focusing more on the cross defense, because I do believe this Irish team will break the Springbok defense from time to time. I do believe that Johnny Sexton's going to struggle in the sense of he won't have the space he usually has to get those kicks away, but he will get one or two away. So it's going to be very interesting. I think the first half is going to be super tight. Probably not much in it, 7-7 or 10-10, something of that sort. Maybe 10-10 or 13-10, something to that extent for me. It's the second half when the substitute starts coming up where I am wondering how the game will turn out. Because there you go with 7 forwards and 1 back. They're matching up Dion Fourie obviously versus Dan Sheenan. Dion Fourie coming in as the backup hooker. I got to feel Dan Sheenan much better there. Dion Fourie is okay. He's going to be able to carry his weight, but he's again such a good fetcher, and that guy plays with heart. So don't write off Dion Fourie. He's a great fetcher, and he'll be able to slow ball down for the Springboks, because the Springboks will want to slow ball down, and the Irish will want to speed it up. Then you've got Oxenchair versus Kilcoyne. My opinion, Oxenchair that little bit better. Trevor Neikane versus Finlay Beelum. It's a close one, man. Both these two guys are super good. John Klein versus Ian Henderson. Again, such a tight one there. Could go either way. John Klein for me just that little bit better. RG Snyman versus Ryan Beard. RG just that little bit better, but again, a good matchup. Then that's where I think the Springboks are going to have that little bit more. They've got Marco van Staden still on the bench. Here you go to the backs now from the Irish, which will be Conor Murray, which will be great to come on second half. It's no step down there from Gibson Park. They're both outstanding scrum halves. Then Jack Crowley, you know, where with Kwagga Smith, another replacement up front. Jack Crowley, to me, I mean, he's just not Sexton. So I don't know. For me, a Crowley, Sexton's got to play the full game, man. And then Henshaw coming up, a really good back as well. But Kobus Reinach just as good to match. So, guys, I mean, I just feel the Springboks are going to have that little bit more up front. And at the end, it will just win this game by a try. I think by a try. By like 5 to 7 points, they'll win this game. They just have that little bit more for me with these extra forwards. I think someone like a Murray won't bring the same impact as some of these forwards will for the Springboks. You know, so I'm calling the Springboks by 5 to 7. Tell me what you think. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoy this video, and I'm catching you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.